This week on Channel 8 News, we look at diversity in the workplace, Black Lives Matter movement activist Janaya Khan, SAC's Cupcake Wars, and more. Channel 8 News starts right now. Thank you for tuning in to Channel 8 News. I'm Anastasia Tuttle. Last week's SAC lecture featured Black Lives Matter movement founder Janaya Khan. Mitch Bomberger took a look at this recent lecture. Mitch?
We are in the middle of Black History Month, and to honor that, on the 8th of February, Janaya Khan came to campus to talk to students about Black Lives Matter and how there has been a lot of injustice in young black people in this country. Janaya Khan is a co-founder of Black Lives Matter Toronto and has become the leading voice in global crusade demanding social transformation, justice, and equality. Khan is a black, gay, gender nonconformist activist, boxer, and social justice educator. Khan's dedication and bold approach to social justice work has created opportunities to create academic and frontline community dialogue, engaging audiences on global impact of Black Lives Matter movement. An accomplished lecturer and author, their writings have been featured in Feminist Wire, The Roots, and the Huffington Post's Black Voice. Khan spoke for about an hour on several different topics, such as unarmed shootings in the Trump administration and so many different things going wrong with this country. With the wall underway and the airport shutdowns and so many other things they believe is unconstitutional.
What about black on black crime? Ask them, are black lives not worth protecting? The next time that someone says, I don't think they meant it that way when they said that, push back and remind them of intention versus impact. The next time that someone says, it's not like black people are the only people dying, remind them that no, they aren't. But black people are disproportionately dying in this country and all over the world. Can we at least talk about that? The next time that someone says, my boyfriend is black, remind them that having a black boyfriend doesn't mean that you're not racist. And in fact, the idea that you wouldn't be racist because you have a black boyfriend is in fact racist. And the next time that someone says, I feel really unsafe having this conversation, ask them, are you feeling unsafe or are you feeling uncomfortable?
After the lecture, they opened it up to the floor for questions from everyone, and people talked about their experiences with racism on a daily basis and how to deal with it. If you ever get the chance to hear their lecture, I would highly encourage you to, because it's very powerful and moving. After the lecture was over, they were willing to stay back and talk to people about their struggles and what they're going through. This is Mitch Bomberger reporting for Channel 8 News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Mitch. The men and women of the Missouri National Education Association held a forum to discuss diversity in the workplace. Jackie Harding has that story. Jackie?
A new organization is beginning to take place here at Northwest. This organization is going to have meetings every other Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. This week's topic was diversity in the workplace. I sat down with Kimberly Ward to hear more about this topic.
The main goal of this forum was really to get students to think about how they conceptualize what diversity is and thinking about, okay, so what are the biases that I have? What are the things that I learned growing up, kind of the stereotypes that I place on people, and how does that affect the students that I work with? And it was kind of geared towards those who are going to work K through 12, so getting them to think early about what biases they hold and how that will affect their students. And as they think about those, kind of disrupting those and dismantling those to be able to effectively work with their students and reframe their classroom management.
This forum was hosted to show the importance in recognizing the different types of diversity and understanding people's backgrounds.
I think it's important because throughout society, students have learned while growing up different perceived notions of who a person is, specifically when it comes to race, when it comes to gender, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, that is not always necessarily true. So we know that stereotypes sometimes are true and they are not, you know, the whole picture of who a person is. And so I wanted people to really think about what they learned and know that it's important to learn about their students, know what their students' stories are, because how a student acts in the classroom is not necessarily about them. It's about, you know, what's going on at home, or maybe there's not, you know, an importance on education inside their home, and so they don't really take it as serious when they come to class. So really thinking about who that student is, what they're experiencing, and know that their misbehavior in class is not always due to them, and kind of to dismantle some of the school to prison pipeline stuff that does happen with the zero tolerance policy, like I mentioned, and the recent policy that started January 1st about students who fight in class and how that could be a potential felony. And we want to prevent some of that.
During the presentation, Kimberly handed out an article to everyone that talked about how to correctly label others.
Yes, so I handed out an article, and it was about labeling black male students as angry. And so what that teacher talks about in the article, she's specifically a white female teacher, and one of her students was misbehaving in her classroom, so she labeled him angry and rude. And so that when it came time to for parent-teacher conferences, the mom was like, hey, I need you to change the language on this paper because that's going to follow my son. That label angry has specifically been applied to a specific group of people based on stereotypes. And so African Americans are seen as more angry when they express their feelings, and knowing that, you know, there is more to that.
The different topics discussed every other Thursday are geared towards specific majors, but that shouldn't stop others from participating.
Yeah, so it was mainly geared towards education majors, students who are looking to work K through 12, but really anyone could have attended the session, and I'm glad that, you know, we had someone from HR department, someone from diversity, equity, and inclusion, both who are staff members and are not students, to come and learn more about, you know, what our students are learning on campus and how they can continue that conversation.
Diversity in the Workplace is a forum about how to handle diversity while being an educator in school. The next forum will be held February 23rd with a different topic. Keep a watch for that topic on the university calendar. This has been Jackie Harding reporting for KNWT Channel 8.
Thanks, Jackie. We'll be right back after this with your Northwest Event Report. Welcome back to Channel 8 News. I'm Anastasia Tuttle, and this is your Northwest Event Report. On Tuesday, February 14th at 6 p.m., Oak Point Assisted Living and Memory Care will be celebrating Valentine's Day. The celebration is free and open to everyone. There will be live music, dancing, and treats. Later Tuesday evening at 7:30 p.m., the Northwest Symphony Orchestra concert will be held at the Charles Johnson Theater in the Olive Duluth Fine Arts Building. The Office of Student Involvement will be hosting its Spring Organizational Fair in BEARCAT Arena from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Wednesday, February 15th. Check out all the Northwest has to offer, including Northwest Student Media. Sister Helen Prejean, Roman Catholic nun and member of the Congregation of St. Joseph, will speak at Northwest as a part of the Distinguished Lecture Series. Sister Prejean is the author of the New York Times bestseller, Dead Man Walking, an eyewitness account of the death penalty. The event will be held on Wednesday, February 15th at 7:30 p.m. in the Charles Johnson Theater. The men and women's BEARCAT basketball teams will play Pittsburgh State Thursday, February 16th in Pittsburgh, Kansas. The women's game will be held at 5:30 p.m. and the men's game will follow at 7:30. The Office of Diversity and Inclusion encourages individuals to join them for Drop the Mic Night to write and present a piece on the crisis in Black education. The event will be held on Thursday, February 16th at 7:30 at the Black Box Theater and the Ron Houston Center for Performing Arts. On Friday, February 17th at 5 p.m. SAC will be hosting a murder mystery dinner in the Student Union. Students will enjoy dinner as well as an attempt to solve a murder. This year's St. Francis Gala Under the Big Top will be on Saturday, February 18th at 6 p.m. There will be aerial acrobats, carnival games, a live band, dancing, dinner, an auction, and a raffle. All proceeds go to the new SSM Health Preschool and Child Care Center. Tickets are available for $30. More information and registration can be found on ssmhealthstfrancis.com. 4-on-4 volleyball tournament will take place Sunday, February 19th at the Lampkin Activity Center. The tourney will begin at 11 in the morning and will have 2 divisions, one for competitive and the other just for recreational. The cost is $10 per person for early registration, with applications due on the 15th. Late and walk-in registration will be available for $12. For more information, email Jared Larson at s514634@mail.northwest.edu. That's all for your Northwest Event Report. When we come back, we take a look at some recent community news and events. Stay tuned. Bearcats basketball team played their annual Pink Zone games last week. In addition to the games, the Northwest Athletics Department partnered with SSM Health St. Francis Hospital and Health Services to raise money through a silent auction to assist Northwest employee and breast cancer survivor Joyce Luke. Maureen Proskell had the chance to get to know a little bit more about Joyce. Maureen?
Most Bearcat fans wore green to games to show their support. On Wednesday night, they wore pink. The color choice was to show support for local resident Joyce Luke, who has stage 4 breast cancer. Luke was this year's beneficiary of the Pink Zone auction. Joyce says this is her 4th time dealing with cancer since age 29, and the money from the auction will help greatly with the cost of her medical treatments. Joyce says that she is fortunate enough to have been able to use non-chemotherapy treatments. She found the overall spirit of the event to be heartwarming. The Pink Zone auction is an effort involving both St. Francis Health Services and the university. Assistant Athletic Director Nate Davis says that they hold this auction during sporting events to take advantage of the inherent crowd. Davis says that the university uses both email and the university website to give the community a chance to nominate somebody. A committee then selects the beneficiary. Items available at the auction included tickets to a Kansas City Chiefs game, autographed photos of Bearcat team members, a gift certificate to Maryville Massage and Body Work, and more. With KNWT Channel 8 News, I'm Maureen Proxel.
Thanks, Maureen. The First Presbyterian Church hosted their annual chocolate festival last weekend to raise money for local charities. Bradley Justice has that story. Bradley?
On Saturday, February 11th, the First Presbyterian Church of Maryville held their annual chocolate festival to raise money with chocolate sales and a quilt auction. This year's sales are a lot more special because the church is shutting down. We got to sit down with Carla Rusco to talk about why these events are so important to the church and how special today is.
It's a wonderful event. People enjoy it, and it's a good celebration. And we thought, why not chocolate? And so we started really small the first year and weren't sure what we were doing, and we've kind of honed it down a little bit. So it goes well. So we've used a lot of the money for things that have come up that are of need. When the Joplin had their tornado, we sent some money there. The Presbyterian Church down there had a daycare, and so some of their families were affected, and so we sent gift cards before school started so they could buy things for their children, because some of them have lost a lot. We have helped a classroom through Donors Choose, and Donors Choose. And we do a lot to help the Children and Family Center.
This chocolate festival event was a great way to indulge in as much sweet homemade chocolate treats while helping the church. This has been Bradley Justice reporting for Channel 8 News.
Thanks, Bradley. When we come back, we talk more about local headlines along with some national news. Don't go away. Welcome back. Teams of students competed against each other to decorate jumbo cupcakes at SAC's recent Cupcake Wars. Channing Clement has more. Channing?
Some of us here at Channel 8 News got to attend and participate in SAC late night activity Cupcake Wars. Cupcake Wars was a competition between teams of 1 to 4 people. You had to make 3 different cupcakes based on separate themes. Those themes were Valentine's Day, Northwest, and Random. The cupcakes were judged on a scale of 1 to 5 based on the creativity, name of cupcake, originality, presentation, and relevance to theme. We got to hear producer of Amazing Things, Aaron Wilkins' outlook on the event.
The Cupcake Wars were very interesting, not as intense as I thought they would be, but after all, we are talking about cupcakes. I was in a group with 2 of my crew members, and you get 3 cupcakes for each group, so luckily there was only 3 of us, so we each got a cupcake, and our theme was random, and we created Bob's Burgers characters, but one of our crew members messed it up, and he made a Valentine's Day one, which was cute, and it tasted amazing.
We got the chance to get an inside look on the action by placing a GoPro on Aaron.
Wearing the GoPro was really fun because you got kind of like an insider perspective of making a cupcake. Of course, there's not really that much to it, but it was a lot better than, of course, when you have a regular, just normal camera, you get kind of an outsider's point of view, a view of the entire event and just kind of each person, but you don't really get the in-depth experience. Of course, you can get those pretty shots of cupcakes, but you don't get the whole feel of making the cupcake, putting the frosting on, the sprinkles, going to grab the frosting, reaching over people to get it. It just gave more the feel that it was a competition. And it was kind of a little more fast-paced and it was a lot more fun.
The winners of the Cupcake War got to pick between a water bottle full of candy or a Northwest t-shirt. Although Erin and her team members didn't win, she still got to shove cupcakes in their faces. Cupcake Wars was a unique experience and event. Keep on the lookout for the next SAC late night event. This has been Channing Clement reporting for Channel 8 News.
Thanks, Channing. I had the chance to go out and speak to Northwest students a little bit about Valentine's Day. Here's what fun stuff they had to say. Hey guys, it's Anastasia. This week I stepped outside to see how people feel about Valentine's Day this year. Let's check it out. What would you say your best Valentine's Day was?
Ooh, my best Valentine's Day. I don't know. I think one Valentine's Day I got this huge teddy bear and it was waiting for me in my car. It initially really scared me because I just hopped in my car. And all of a sudden I looked in my mirror and I saw a huge thing there and I was kind of freaked out, and then I realized it was a giant teddy bear, so that probably was.
That sounds great. That's a complete surprise. I've always wanted one of those big teddy bears, so that sounds like a great Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Actually, last year I was also single, so we just my friends and I just made chocolates, each other giving presents to each other. It was pretty good without boyfriend. So.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, sometimes the best Valentines are from your family and your best friends. Doesn't necessarily have to be in a relationship, and I think that's really great. Well, I hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day. Thank you for helping me out. What's your best Valentine's Day?
My best Valentine's Day? I haven't really had my best Valentine's Day. I guess my mom buys me chocolates. So, yeah.
That's great. My dad, he's my best Valentine's ever. He always buys me candy
Really?
and flowers. Yeah, it's I don't need another guy.
It has to be my mom then.
What's your worst Valentine's Day?
I
don't think she wants to answer that.
Yeah.
What would you say your worst Valentine's Day was?
Well, the fact that it's after my birthday every year is kind of every year, so it's just every year.
Oh, that's awful. Is your birthday on the 13th?
Yep.
That is awful. I'm sorry. Well, I hope this Valentine's Day is a lot better than all the other ones.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it being commercialized and everything like that?
Personally,
I don't really vibe with Valentine's Day because I like to treat women the same every day. So that's all I have to say.
That's a good answer. Thank you.
I think they're just putting it out there so they can get money out of people who want to give hearts away and all that. It's a big money scheme. That's all I have to say.
I kind of agree with you. I think that instead of just choosing a day to really show your love for someone, you should try to do that every day and make it way more genuine than just obligatory. I butchered that word, but you know what I mean. Yes, I do, because I can't say the word either, but that's okay.
Kansas may soon join the many states across the country who have legalized some form of marijuana use. 2 new bills are being introduced at the State House, one that would legalize medicinal use and the other recreational. Not all state legislators are on board. That tops our look at national headlines. Reporter Harrison Drake from our CNN affiliate has the latest.
Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell.
The times are a-changing, and it isn't so much of reefer madness anymore. You have advocacy groups and lawmakers who are having serious discussions about the highly controversial plant. Senator David Haley is one of those lawmakers who will be pushing for 2 bills, legalize medicinal use and legalize recreational use.
There's no arguing with the data that's now available from many states, certainly our neighbor to the west, Colorado, and other states.
As for the data that Haley is talking about, Colorado has seen a big bump in state tax revenue since legalization. Haley argues that legalizing it and taxing it could fix budget woes for Kansas, reaping similar results to Colorado.
In many ways, we're broke, and we need to look at other opportunities. We are an agricultural state already. We're best known for that. So it's just a solid link between who we are already.
And if you want to see how those attitudes are changing, just look at the rest of the country. In some form or another, marijuana legalization has spread from coast to coast, but Kansas remains an uncertain territory. That's because several more conservative figures have shot it down in the past. But now, even Republicans are recognizing those changing attitudes on the plant.
The one thing that I found out when I was knocking on doors is that people were interested in the use of medical marijuana. The medical marijuana provided some relief to children with seizures.
But he's not on the bandwagon 100% yet.
I would definitely need more information before I can jump in. The use of it and the safety and all those things need to be examined before making a decision.
But he's not 100% opposed either.
The medical use bill would make marijuana available through written recommendation. Doctors cannot prescribe it because it's illegal on the federal level. While Washington was worried about a travel ban, former President Obama was trying his hand at water sports. Janine Moose reports on his vacation in the Virgin Islands.
He waved goodbye, flew away in a chopper. Next thing you know, he's flying a kite. Kite surfing, actually, in the Virgin Islands with a smile so big, one poster commented, he looks younger already. How was your weekend, was the caption comparing Obama's face to President Trump's. Tweeted another, wait, he's having fun? Is he allowed to have fun? Why isn't he saving us? He can't even save himself on the golf course. Where even an ex-president gets teased for missing putts. But why putter around with golf when there are exciting new water sports to master? Obama learned kite surfing while his host, Richard Branson, learned foil boarding, and when the two competed to see who could stay up longer, the former president won. If you're missing Obama and looking for the next best thing to a hug, here it is, dreamed up by an inventor in New Hampshire.
It's 28 inches fingertip to fingertip and will literally hug you.
Like many hugs, it can be awkward. Where exactly do you put the hand-painted illustration?
And of course you can do the diagonal hug, right? Around the neck and the arm.
Peter Connors says he was devastated when Donald Trump won. He launched Obama Hugs and is now developing an app that lets you turn your own image into a hug, back and front. And while many may be missing Obama, does he look like he's missing them? Jeannie Moe, CNN, New York.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week. For more information on stories that matter to you, like us on Facebook at /Watch Channel 8 News or follow us on Twitter at KNWT 8 News. Cat Chat is up next. And from all of us at Channel 8 News, I'm Anastasia Tuttle. Have a good night.